how you doing? I hope y'all doing good, because I'm doing pretty good. Let me tell you that. So, okay, let me explain why I look like this. But before we even get into the video, don't forget to follow me on my main Instagram at princess_.s. Don't forget to follow me on my business page at ricas.galore. Yes, I have a business. And my launch date is April 21st. I'm actually so excited. I cannot wait to start this business, y'all. I love my business, okay? Let me tell you something. I love my business. Y'all see this curl? Look at the bounce back. Oh, okay. So I was sitting here contemplating what am I going to do to my hair, because I don't know what I'm going to do to my hair. My birthday's in 12 days, so I just washed my hair because I won't be able to wash it before I get my hair done. And I don't know, so just go with whatever happens in my head. I already braided one because I just put oil in it, but yeah. So today, I normally see people do like chit chat, get ready with me, but I'm not getting ready to go anywhere, but I'm doing my hair. So I'm like, let's do my natural hair, get ready with me. No, do my natural hair, chit chat with me. Yes, so that's what I'm gonna do. And the topic that we're gonna be talking about today is a topic that my friend wanted me to talk about for a while, so I'm gonna talk about it. To relieve her and me of this stressful topic, okay? So the topic is, how do you stay faithful to God in such a sin of a world? Friend, you know who you is. I know why you gave me this little topic to talk about, baby, because it's a good topic, but it's just a little hard. But I'm gonna get you right by the end. Okay, so how do you stay faithful to God? First, you have to understand that being faithful to God should not feel like a job. It shouldn't feel like, ugh, now I gotta come home and pray. Like, it should, sorry. It shouldn't feel like a task. You feel me? Like, it shouldn't feel like something you just have to do. Like now I gotta go home and pray. Like, now I gotta go home and read my Bible. Like, now I gotta go to church. It shouldn't feel like anything you do for him should not feel like a task or a job, because then, no, first of all. Second of all, I don't really know how to tell you to be faithful in a sense, because it's like there's not really a way for you to explain to someone to be faithful, if that makes sense. Before I get into it, if you guys see me putting oil in my hair, I just mixed a wild growth oil with the Jamaican black castor oil. I just put them in this bottle and just shake it up and put it in my hair. But yeah, when you're married, right, and you have a husband, nobody tells you to be faithful to them. Like, I don't know about y'all, but me and my mom, yeah, okay, let me say this before y'all think, oh, your mama don't talk to you about them things. Me and my mom, we talk all the time. I'm really close to my mom. But when I say she hasn't told me, oh, you have to be faithful to your husband, she doesn't need, it's like something you don't need to tell people, because it's common sense. So my mom never told me, oh, you have to be faithful to your husband, but it's common sense. And faithfulness doesn't just, faithfulness to God should come easy. I don't want to say it should come easy. Let me say that being faithful, it's not something that is going to happen right away. But when you love someone, okay, let's take a husband in a situation, okay? So before he's your husband, he's your boyfriend. Before he's your boyfriend, he's a stranger. So when you start talking to someone, like say your husband's name is John, whatever. So John, from before he was your husband, he was your boyfriend. Before he was your boyfriend, he was a stranger. So when you first met Johnny, you were talking to John. Yes, you were talking to John, but you weren't faithful to him in a sense where it's like you didn't know if you guys are gonna date or not. So you're talking to him, but you're keeping your, what did they say? Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Yeah. So you're talking to John, but you're just not like faithful to only him. Like, you could be talking to like John, you could be talking to like Mark and Matthew, because you don't really know if you're gonna end up dating John. But then after a few dates with John, you're like, I kind of like this guy. So you stop talking to Mark and Matthew. I think that's what I call them. You stop talking to Mark and Matthew because you're like, I think me and John is gonna, like, make it somewhere in life. Like, I can see this guy be my boyfriend. So now you're starting to be loyal to only him. You're only talking to him because you can see a future with him. After you talk to him, you decide, ooh, yes, I want this guy to be my boyfriend. So he asks you like, hey, can you be my girlfriend? You're faithful to him because, after a while, you love him. You don't love him just like that, but you love his company. You love being around him. Then a few years down the line, you end up loving him, right? Like a year or two, y'all get engaged, you get married, you love him, you're faithful to him because you love him. When you love someone, you don't want to hurt them. So like, you're married to John, you don't want to hurt John because you love him, so you're faithful to him. You're faithful to him because you love him, if that makes sense. That's how you have to look at God. You have to be faithful to God because you love him, not because someone's telling you to, not because your friends are doing it, not because, you know what I mean? You loving God has to just be you. And my relationship with God is different from your relationship with God. So you can't look at me and be like, oh, she's doing this, so I'm going to do it too. Every relationship is different. Just like I have a boyfriend, my friend has a boyfriend. Both of our relationships with our boyfriend is different. So you can't look at me and be like, oh, she's doing this in her relationship, so I'm going to do it too. And I can't look at her and be like, oh, she's doing this in her relationship, I'm going to do it too. Because something that are going to fly over there is not going to fly over here. And something that's going to fly over here is not going to fly over there. So you have to have your own relationship with God. And getting a relationship is you know, talking to him every day, reading his word, just understanding him for who he is. So being faithful, I can't really tell you. There's not really like steps like you have to do this. Well, if there is steps, baby, I don't know them. But there's not actual steps like step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to be faithful, because there's really, the only way you can be faithful to God is when you love him. And you have to understand how much God loves you for you to love God. Yes, you have to understand. And even if you don't really understand it, because a lot of, listen, even sometimes too, I don't really understand like someone could love me that much. But even if you don't understand it, just the simple fact that you think, because for me, sometimes I really don't understand the love that God has for me, because I'm like, ain't no way somebody love me that much that he sent his son to die for me. But you have to think about it, even if you're not 100% there yet, you know in your mind that he loves you. Whether you feel it or not, you know in your mind that he loves you. It's for you to read his word and talk to him every day. And another thing too, do not beat up on yourself. Like if you're busy, I don't want to say busy, but if you're like out all day or like you're at work or whatever the case may be and you can't read the Bible, do not hate yourself and be like, oh my God, like God's gonna hate. No, because he understands. But keep a prayer in your heart or like a song or something like that. Nowadays too, especially with the songs that are coming out, baby, Lil Nas, oh no, you have to be careful of the things that you listen to, because like I said, okay, so when you have a baby, you are, I don't know about everybody else, but Jamaicans, Caribbeans, my family, I don't know about all Caribbeans, but my family, when they have babies, especially before you christen a child, you are very careful of who you bring around the child, because babies pick up everything, and not all people around you bring good, and not everybody brings positivity. A lot of people are very negative. They smile in your face and they're like, oh, in their mind they're like, oh, he's this and he's that, and they sing negativity over the child. This is why you be careful of who you bring around. It's just like that with God. When you have a relationship with him, you have to be careful of who you let in your space, the things you listen to, the things you watch, everything, because your mind is always listening. Your mind really controls what goes on in your life. Sorry. Your mind is really what controls. Think positive things happen to you. When you think negative all the time, when you're a negative Nancy, there's a reason why they call it negative Nancy. When you're a negative Nancy, negativity follows you. Everywhere you go, there's something bad happening. That's because you're never positive. You're always like, oh, this is going to happen to me. Oh, I already know this. It even happened yet, but because you said, I already know this is going to happen, it's like you spoke it out there. There's a lot of things, not in the physical realm, but there's a lot of things in the spiritual realm that, guys, I'm so sorry that these little flurries are flying around. It's annoying me too. But the paper that's in my room, this sheds a lot, got a lot of hair on it. So just, I'm sorry about it. But yeah, there's a lot of things to the spiritual realm that we don't know about. So when you say something, you put it out there, it's out there. It's up there and stuck there, honey. Which means now it's like your fight. When you realize that it's happening, you're like, oh my God, it's a spiritual battle now that you have to now try to like break. And that's where you're going to need some deliverance and prayer and all that stuff, because it's a lot. When you put something out there, it's out there, which is why a lot of times you have to be careful of the things you say and the things you think. Even when you think it, it's not out there, but you thought it already, it's in your mind, which is why you have to control your mind. You have to control your thoughts, which is why you have to be careful of what you put in your mind and what you take out. What you put in your mind, what you watch, what you listen to. A lot of the musics, you have to be careful of what you listen to, because a lot of them have deeper meanings than what you think they do. You're just listening to something like, oh, it's a nice song, whatever the case may be, not realizing that a lot of stuff happened before they published the song. I ain't gonna talk too much about it, but just understand it's a lot of spiritual stuff going on to a song that you guys don't understand. So when you love, going back to how to be faithful and when you love someone, you're be careful of who you bring around them. Listen, I love my nephews to death. Like, when I say I love them with all my heart. My nieces and my nephews, I don't bring every and anybody around them. And when I'm going out and I have them, I don't go out with every and anybody, because I don't want every and anybody around them, because not everybody needs to be around or in their space. They're so small, they're so young. I don't want every and anybody around them. Simple as that. Even when I post videos of them, I'm so particular about when I post the videos, what videos I'm posting, because not everybody needs to see them. As much as I love them and they are adorable, not everybody needs to see them. So I'm very careful of who I put, who's watching my stuff, and when I post them and all that stuff. That's the same way how you have to be with God. When you have a relationship with him, you have to be careful of the things that you put in your body, the things that you watch, the things that you listen to, because you don't want nothing to ruin that relationship. Just the same way how when you're married, you be careful. You do certain things not out of fear because, oh, my husband hit me. You do it because you love him and you're like, oh, I don't want to be around this girl because, she's always around a lot of guys and I don't want my husband to feel some type of way because I love him. You do it out of love. That's the same way how you have to look at God. You have to look at it and be like, you know what? As much as I love this girl, or as much as I love this guy, I don't want to be around them or I can't be around them because I'd rather lose a relationship with them than a relationship with God. And honestly, nothing's going to happen overnight, and you're not going to be, of course, you're never going to be happy when you have to get rid of someone because they're not the best for you. But in the end, you'll move on and you'll find someone that you have. Who knows? You're probably going to find someone that's a better connection with you and that you're going to enjoy. So being faithful to God is not a 1, 2, 3 step, boom, faithfulness. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of dedication. I'm not fully there yet, but let me tell you, the road is rough and tough, okay? Okay? And honey, the road is rough, but honestly, it's a road you want to be on, because it's like, although you lose some, you gain so much more that by the time you realize some of the stuff you lost, it was like, that's it? Thank you. It may seem, at the time, it seems like a lot, oh my God, this and this and this and this. But in the end, you're going to look at it and be like, yo, it was all worth it. And to be honest, you are going to lose a lot, because walking with God is not no chicken feed, as Jamaicans would say. It ain't no walk in the park. It's not a walk in the park, as in it's not easy. But once you it's never going to be easy. Nothing you ever want to do is going to be easy. You love going to school, but going to school is easy? No. But you love going because you love learning. So there's certain things that's never going to be easy, but you get it done. Okay? And I'm still learning. We all fall, we all make mistakes, but that's the how do I say it? That's the good part about God, if that makes sense. Even though we all fall, even though we all make mistakes, he never leaves us. And he already knows we're going to make the mistake. So he just smiles and Sharika. And even when you're beating up on yourself, oh my God, I should have never did this. He already done forgave you. So you just have to move on and forgive yourself. Don't be too hard on yourself. But being faithful is not, there's no if there's a book on how to be faithful, you let me know. Because baby, I never seen nobody explain how to be faithful. It's not no 1, 2, 3 step and you're done. But it just has to be you. And a lot of times when you ask people like, oh, how do you do this? How did you get this? How did you get so many followers? How do you get all of this? They always say it's consistency and dedication. Just the same as how you're consistent and dedicated to whatever you are out there in life, you have to be consistent and dedicated to God too, because it ain't no one-stop shop, honey, where it's like, yeah, I'm gonna accept the Lord and Savior, and then after that is just it. My life is smooth. No, honey. And a lot of times Christians have to work a lot harder than non-Christians, because let me tell you, baby, when I tell you I have to work a lot harder than some people out there, and that's just because what comes easy won't last long, and what lasts long won't come easy. So you just have to understand that it's not a walk in the park, but it's a walk in the park, in the sense that it may be hard. It may be a hard walk, but it's a good walk. Like, you know, sometimes when you go to a park in the summertime, it is hot outside and you walking like, dang, this is not worth it. But when you finally get to the park and sit down, you feel under the shade, you feel the nice cool breezes, you're like, yeah, this was nice. It's like that. It's not a walk in the park in the sense of it's not easy, but it's a walk in the park in the sense of you get blessed with so much more that it's just like hard. But I'm not saying it's hard to scare you. I'm saying it's hard to prepare you, because once you actually get it, girl, ain't nothing gonna stop you, honey. But you just have to want it. You just have to want it. Even if you want it just a wee bit, God will help you. But you have to actually say you want it and mean it. Don't just be like, oh yeah, I want it, but then tomorrow you're smoking, drinking, doing all that. Nah, baby, you don't want nothing. Okay, you don't want nothing. It's dedication. And I'm not saying that if you smoke and drink but you want to follow the Lord, God don't love you, because God loves everybody, even the sinners, honey. We all sinners. He loves all of us. But what I'm saying is, you have to want it enough to understand, like, some of these things that you're doing is not acceptable to God. And you're not going to find it out that easy, of course. Some of it is common sense, and then some of it is you have to read the Bible to understand. But everything is going to take time. Everything is going to come along. You just have the willingness and just relax, pray, and do what you're supposed to, and everything will come to you after a while. But you have to want it as bad as you say you do, or as bad as you think you do. You have to want it. That's all I can really talk about that. I'm gonna end the video right there. I just wanted to chit chat with you guys. I'll probably show you guys my hair in the end, but for the talking portion, that's really it. So I'm probably just gonna not speed up the video, because I'm gonna cut it right here, because it's already 18 minutes that I have to edit. But after watching this video, I love you all so much. I hope you guys learned something from today. And if you have any other ideas or opinions about this video, or any facts that you want to drop for people watching, so that they like anything that you think that would have been important to put in but I didn't put in, you can put that in the comments down below so people can read it and it can add on to what I said. And yeah, love you, those.